Hey guys, so today we're going to go over the Code Cloud Certified Kubernetes Administrator Practice Exam. So this is the first one. So let's get started. So the first question is asking deploy a pod named Nginx pod and using the Nginx Alpine image, and then go to the next question. So I'm going to do krun. We'll do an Nginx pod, and we're going to set the image to equal Nginx Alpine. I'm going to run that, and then we'll see if that's running. Awesome. So the next question is saying deploy a messaging pod using Redis Alpine as well, and image and set the label to tier message. Okay, so we're going to do krun messaging, and we're going to use the Redis Alpine image. And there we go. And we're actually going to dry run this. Actually, I'm going to show you guys this way. So we ran messaging, and now you can see, so now we can do k-edit messaging, edit pod messaging, and we're going to edit that, and we're going to make the change. So the only thing we need to change here is we need to add tier message to it. So let's do that and put that in YAML format and escape, and that pod just changed. So let's see. There we go. Awesome. And so that's working, and we can make sure this worked by doing k-describe pod messaging, and we can see that there's tier message there. Awesome. Next. Create a namespace. So to create a namespace, we do k-create an s, and then the name of the namespace. So if we do k-get namespaces, you're going to see that it's just created. Awesome. So it's saying get a list of nodes in JSON format and store it as file. So we can try that out. So we'll do k-get nodes, and then we'll try k-get nodes and output that as a JSON. That works. And then we're just going to save it to a file. So create a service, messaging service, to expose the messaging application on port 6379. Okay, so let's do, I think the command is k-expose messaging. I think k-expose pod messaging, and then we actually also want to name it. So let's name it. I think that's how it is, so we can confirm. Let's and we can also reference kubectl, reference docs. I'm going to look for expose. And it looks like we can put a couple of things. So here's some examples, and looks like you can do all of that. So do -h, set name to equal messaging service, and -h, we want to set it as a cluster IP, and it looks like must be cluster IP to be assigned and service leave empty to auto allocate. Okay, so we can just leave that empty, and it looks like it'll automatically use it. So, and then we want to expose the port equals 6379, and I believe that's it. Awesome. So we can do k get service messaging service, and actually we can output that as a YAML so we can see what that looks like. And it looks like it is of type cluster IP, port 6379, and the name is messaging service. Awesome. Create a deployment named HR Web App using the image Code Cloud with 2 replicas. Okay. So we can do k-create deployment, and we're going to name it HR Web App. And that's our image. So let's do -- image equals and I'll also set the replicas equal to. And I think that's it. So we can do get deployments. It's done. Okay, looks like that's all running. HR web app, awesome. Create a static pod named static busybox on the control plane node that uses the busybox image and the sleep command. Okay, so let's try that out. Let's do k run static busybox on image busybox, and let's dry run this so it doesn't actually apply, and we're going to be the client, and we're going to output that as a YAML and store that to a file. So in this case, we'll do busybox.yaml. So if we cat busybox.yaml, you can see that's there, and we can do, we can edit this. So edit busybox, and it's saying to add the command option. So looks like we need to run the command sleep 1000. So let's go to documentation and look up commands. Define a command argument for a container, and we're looking for something like this. Okay, put that in there, and looks like it's in line with the container. Okay, so let me put that in there. Arguments. Awesome. And we're going to set the command sleep 1000. Okay, awesome. I'm going to set that and hit right quit. And we know that a static pod is defined at the node level. So what we want to do is move this busybox.yaml to the location of /etc Kubernetes manifests and name it busybox.yaml. Awesome, so we just moved it, and now we can cat this location. Make sure that's there. Awesome. Sleep 1000, static busybox, and let's see if it's there. So let's get pods. And there you can see static busybox on the control plane is there. Create a pod in the finance namespace and name it temp bus with image out Redis Alpine. Okay, so let's do k run temp bus using the image Redis Alpine, and let's store that in the finance namespace. Temp bus, Redis image, okay, and there we go. So we can do get pods in the finance namespace. So you can see that is running. We'll go to the next question. A new application orange is deployed and there's something wrong with it. Identify and fix the issue. Okay. Let's do get pods, see what we're working with. There's there, and let's see that it's an init error. Okay. So let's see why that is. So let's do edit the orange, edit pod, orange. And you can see that the main issue is that the init container is not running. So let's see, and I can already see the issue, and that's because the sleep process is probably failing because this is sleep with multiple E's. Okay, so let's change that to sleep and write that. And you're going to see that it's failing because you can't edit a definition of a container without redeploying the pod itself. You could do that with the deployment, and that's only because it'll spin up a new pod. So the only way to do this is to replace the pod. So let's quit out of here, and it looks like it's stored it in this location. So let's do replace -f this, and we're going to force that. So now if we do get pods, it's in an initializing state, and it is running. Okay, awesome. That issue looks like it's fixed. expose the HR web app as a service on port 30082 on the nodes on the cluster. Okay, so let's do expose HR web app as a deployment. So we're going to use deployment and use HR web app, and we're going to set the port to equal 300. Oh, the application listens on 8080, so we'll do 8080, and we want to name it HR app service, and it's going to use the node port like this. So I also need to define the type as node port, so let's see how we do that. So we're looking for the type field. So the type field is right here, and the default is cluster IP, but we want node port, okay? So let's do -- type and equals node port. And you can see that's exposed, but one thing we never did was set the port. So that's 30082, so we can just edit the service. And let's go in here and set the node port. Awesome. And then it's saying that the endpoints should be 2. So what does that mean? It means that there's 2 pods pointing towards this HR service. So the way to figure that out is do k describe service HR app service. Okay. And you can see that there are 2 points here exposing on 8080. Awesome. I think that's pretty much it. Let's go to the next one. Use JSON path query to retrieve the OS image of all nodes. Okay, so let's do k get nodes. And that doesn't really have OS image, so let's do output that as wide and see what this there. So we can see that there is an OS image. It's not showing completely correctly, but there we go. So let's do k get nodes and output that as JSON and see what we're looking for. So also here is node info OS image. So they actually made a note here. So they said the OS image is under node info, which we just confirmed, and it's saying it's under the status section of each node. Okay. Status. Okay. So how do we do custom columns? No, there's a way. So we're looking for something here. Output. Custom columns. Okay. Okay, so let's try that. Let's try output custom columns equals, and it looks like it was status. It's looking for a header, so let's name it like OS image is the name, I'm guessing. And we're looking for status. Okay, so the status is there, so let's do status node info. That's working, and then do OS image. Awesome. And retrieve and store it in a file. And we don't have to store it as a JSON, so let's just store that to this file. Awesome. Retrieve the OS image of all nodes is stored. Okay. So we can actually cat that location and see what's there. So there you can see it's there. Next. Create a persistent volume with the given specifications. Volume name, PV Analytics, 100 MI, access mode, read, write, many, and we're looking for mounting it directly to the node, which is under PV Data Analytics. Okay. So let's look at persistent volumes. And actually we can do by pp.yaml. This is persistent volumes, and we're looking how to set host path. Something like that. Oh yeah, host path. That's for a pod. Let's find another example. Let's do like NFS. Okay, so it's something like this. Capacity, file system. Okay. So I believe it's... Actually, before we do that, we can do k-explain persistent volumes. And we're looking under the spec section. And we're looking for what host path is. Host path. Okay. So it's like it's host path. And host path is saying path. Then you just add a path field. Okay. Awesome. Let's do that. So we copy this. Go back. Vi, edit that. I'm gonna remove that. We're going to set this as this path. And looks like it's host path. And we don't need this, I don't think. And looks like we're doing read write many. And volume mode file system, that's probably fine. And we're going to do 100 MI. And we're going to name it PV Analytics. Okay. Exit out of here. Okay, apply -f pv.yaml. And it's saying that API version is not set. Oh, so we probably messed something up. We're missing the A here. API. Awesome. Looks like that's created, so we can do k get pv, and the status is available. Awesome. So is the volume set? Is the storage capacity set? Is access mode set? We set that, and okay, I think we're good. So I think we're done here. So let's see how we did. Looking good. Seemed like a pretty easy exam. I mean, pretty basic. But I mean, these concepts are kind of tough. Damn, 100%? Nice. Awesome. Well, that's about it. Guess there's nothing to go over.